All right, we just got our episodes for week 2 of Love is Blind, and I was very excited. I didn't think I was going to get to cover any until tomorrow, but I had a little bit of extra time today, so we're sneaking in the first episode. So let's get into it. We are gone from the fantastic vacation everybody's been on. All the couples moved back to Atlanta together. They will all be staying in the same apartment complex, which I was a little disappointed by because I was hoping that having the couples actually get some separation from each other would have been really good at this point in time, but turns out that's not what's going to happen. So we must suffer through the Jessica and Barnett drama for a little bit longer. I'll just go through each of the couples this week and talk about what I saw and when my thoughts on each. So we might as well start with Mark and Jessica. Jessica keeps just actively searching for issues in their relationship. You know, she brings up the age over and over and over again, and then Mark and Jessica go and meet Mark's roommate and his girlfriend, and the age is not even a remote concern. And then they go back to Jessica's place and everything's all good. They start talking about gender roles was what started the conversation, and Mark was using the example of his mother as someone he looks up to for those kind of things, and Jessica just goes off on this tangent, won't even let Mark talk about how I'm not your mother, like how could you compare me to you? You better not think you're marrying your mother, like all this wild stuff, and it was ridiculous. And I mean, it's a very common thing. Many people compare themselves and their relationships to their parents. That is probably the most influential relationship most people have in their lives. So of course it is the source of what you base things off of, whether that's good or bad. And when Mark starts to make that comparison, Jessica just jumps all over it. We also saw Barnett had a birthday party just with all the couples thrown by Amber, and Jessica had a long sit down with Barnett. And at one point, I believe that she said basically, you know, if things don't work out, give me a call. And I was just awful. And you can see, like, when she's talking to Barnett, she's fully focused on him. She's fully engaged with him. She's playing with her hair in a flirtatious manner. And you could just tell Barnett was just sitting there trying to be nice. And I felt really bad for the guy because, you know, obviously he chose Amber over Jessica. It wasn't that he was torn between the two. It was that he made connections with Jessica, Elsie, and Amber, and in the end chose Amber over those other two because Amber was his number one choice. So he picked her. And then in Jessica's case, Jessica's number one choice was Barnett, and her backup plan was Mark. And now we see her just constantly trying to sabotage and ruin that relationship. At the end of the episode, we see Jessica drunk once again, having a little bit too much to drink, and Mark just makes a comment like Jessica's saying about how amazing Gianna is. She calls her Gigi. And Mark, you know, just kind of jokingly says she's a close second to you. And Jessica just goes off again. Mark goes out to the couch, and it's getting to the point where how is Mark even staying in that relationship? Or how is he not like addressing these issues and saying, you know, this behavior's not okay, we need to fix it or we're done. Like, he needs to do something, because I don't want to see him get walked all over. I don't want to see him get his heart broken, and I don't want to see him with someone who's not going to love him for the rest of his life. All right. Also, Jessica, stop feeding wine to your dog. All right, on to the next couple. We might as well jump into, let's go to Lauren and Cameron. They're my favorite couple. I love them when they're on screen. I love everything about them, and I'm really rooting for them to work out. Their big issue today was future living arrangements. Cameron owns a 3-bedroom home and wants nothing more than for Lauren to move in with them. And Lauren's not totally sure she's ready for that. And it does create a little awkward moment. And I think that's more about, yes, they're engaged, but still they've only known each other for 2 weeks-ish at this point. And making those kind of life decisions is pretty major. And I hope everything works out with them. But that's kind of our first road bump we've hit with that couple. One thing I noticed about Cameron is he's really looking like a lovesick puppy following Lauren around. Like, he is just 100% enamored with her. And the way he looks at her, I think that's pretty much how everybody wants to be looked at, right? Let's go to Damien and Giannina. They weren't that heavily involved in the episode today, but at Barnett's party they had a huge fight. Damien and Gigi were talking to Lauren and Cameron, and Damien made a pretty awkward comment. I think it was about their living arrangement. I don't remember exactly what it was. And Giannina didn't like the situation and stormed off. And when Damien goes after her, they end up getting into a big fight where they were both not very nice to each other. And I think Giannina used some language that she probably wishes she could take back. And when the last we see of that couple is Damien storming off, getting on the elevator, and walking away by himself. Amber and Barnett, we get a little more into Amber's story and her life situation. She kind of reveals that she's not financially sound. She has no money saved up. She has debt, and that is something that I'm glad she was open with now. Maybe something that could have came up before. It's kind of one of those hard things. Like, everybody has things in their life that maybe they don't open up about right away, and often finances is one of those things where you think that if you're in a relationship with somebody for 2 weeks, even say 2 months, maybe you fully haven't talked about all your finances together yet. So I'm not going to hold that against Amber. I'm glad that she did address it, because it is a concern, especially when they're looking at moving in together and having a life together. And I think it's good for her to lay all the cards on the table. I was also pretty happy that Amber put on the little party for Barnett. And I think today was also very good for Barnett to sort of get that more closure with Jessica, because I feel like her behavior at the birthday party was something you would not want to be around. And I think it just helps to solidify that he made the right choice. And I'm hoping that they have some success together. Who did I miss out on? Kenny and Kelly. All we really saw from them was a brief moment at the start of the episode. Kelly wouldn't be joining them for a couple days. Kenny, I don't even think, came to the birthday party. So they were actually separate for a little while for this episode, and I'm sure we'll see them back again next time. I think that's it for episode 6. I don't think I'll have episode 7 done till tomorrow, and I will check you later.